Hi, and welcome to another edition of Race Stories with Billy and Sam. So this is Boulder Stories. You'll notice we are not in Boulder gear. So we've had a few days to process and really internalize all of the Boulder stories. So let's go ahead and just jump right in, shall we?
I want to tell you, man. Everything's starting to run together for me. The races, I mean, it's good that, so we're doing this a few days after the race, but I think if we wait much longer on these things, then I'm going to be mixing up stuff. So.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and put that disclaimer out there. If we've told the story before, I'm sorry. And it's not intentional. But Boulder will be forever remembered as the smokiest race we've done so far. I don't know, with half of the western half of the U.S. on fire at this point. I'm going to put that disclaimer in there. But
yeah.
So we flew out on Delta. I brought Jennifer and the kiddos with me this time. So we did not get upgraded like Billy, who sat in the lap of luxury. Really.
That was on the way home, though. On the way out there, I was sitting right next to you.
Oh, you were right with us.
Yeah, I didn't even get Comfort Plus upgrade. I got nothing on the upgrade out there. On the way back, I got a pretty sweet upgrade.
So the lesson here is they will not upgrade 4 people. They will only upgrade 2. So if you're booking for 4 people, book 2 and 2. We'll try that. We're going to try that next time. So, but yeah, there was no fun plane stories that I remember.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to Delta. They haven't broken our bikes yet.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Specialized, I'm going to need a new bike here shortly and send the bill to that guy. But yes.
We have some parts.
My bag has taken a beating.
I wonder if it's Delta or if it's the bike bag that's the key. It's something, but so far we've been living all right.
Yeah, we're using the bike cases.
The Helium version 4,
yeah.
Which they absolutely did not give us any discount on.
No, yes, this is not a sponsored post, so when I say all this crap about Bike End here in a second, you'll know it's not sponsored. So I have ordered replacement parts now 3 weeks ago.
Have they still not come in?
No shipping notice, no nothing. Bike End has not responded to calls, emails, texts. I sent up a smoke signal just to see if that would work. So they're a Canadian company, and apparently COVID has affected the telecommunications in Canada, where they will accept your order and take your money for their replacement parts. And included in their, I'm looking through their warranty because obviously these bags are going to be used. And it's a lifetime warranty, comes with the bag, right? So you buy the bag, and then the warranty says this is for the lifetime of the product. That's not a lifetime warranty. Why don't you just call it whatever it was supposed to be? So assuming normal use during thanks to the lawyer that crafted this. So don't call it a lifetime warranty, call it whatever 5-year, 10-year, or whatever it's supposed to be. It is not the lifetime of the person, it's the lifetime of the product. So yeah,
we've been using it for 6 months, man, not even less than a year. I can't believe they're not warranting that for you.
So we looked. It's been on my bag has been on over 70 airplanes, and included was we don't warranty against baggage handlers mishandling the bags. That's what baggage handlers do. Like on their application, are you going to mishandle bags? Yes, I am. Perfect. Welcome aboard. To be fair, there's a shortage of airline baggage workers at the moment. It's so bad that American is canceling flights because they can't get staff to work them. But yes, apparently Bike End does not design the bag for what you literally need the bag for. Yes, if it was
I don't
going
think
in the back
they
of
designed any bag to have 70 flights in less than 6 months. I mean, let's be for real.
It's fair. That's very fair. But it's fine. The pieces that are breaking seem to be easily replaceable. Although some of my stitching is starting to pop too, so yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do about that. Just buy a new one and return the old one in the bag. Here you go. You guys have this. So, Biking protects your bag, doesn't answer their emails. I'll let you guys pick it, but yeah, they're working fine.
We actually have been pretty happy with these
Yes,
bags.
yes. If I have to, I will buy another one.
Yeah. They're not cheap, but they work. I mean, they are for what we do to them. I mean, y'all have seen videos and pictures. We've dragged those bags around
all over Europe.
Yeah. We've been pretty tough on them, and they've held up pretty well.
Yeah, it's fair. So we get to Boulder. We come out there Wednesday night. So we have, the theory was we're not going to be able to breathe because of the altitude. So yeah, why don't you want to talk about Thursday?
What did we even do on Thursday?
Friday.
Went for a hike. What else did we do? I mean, we took the kids up because we took pictures and put that on Instagram.
Yeah.
What else did we do on Thursday?
Mostly I remember the hiking. I think there was a nap in there somewhere.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Friday, we actually went to the venue and tried to find the race director. Actually ended up finding the race director.
Yes.
Did not find our other Ironman contact, but saw her the next morning. But we did get in. We put our bikes together at the venue and rode them a little way, so we kind of got a feel for what the roads were going to be, and the roads were actually really good.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I mean, not the best roads we've ever been on, but they were really good
for
what we've been on recently.
North of whatever we're going to call the snow line, right? This is obviously an area where you've got to plow.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Given that, they were fantastic.
And we did a checkout ride on the bike, and then after that we did the swim, right? We did the bike first and then the swim, and then so you could have paid like $20 or $25 or something and did an open water like out in the lake and come back, and of course we're too cheap to do that. So they have like a little. It's a park, like a state park or whatever, and they had like a little lifeguarded area, and you could swim in a circle. And the circle actually ended up being 200 yards. Pretty much exactly 200 yards for the circle. So we did that, and it was just hard to get a rhythm. It was. And so, I kind of felt like that was going to be a problem the next day, but I wasn't sure that if it was just the circle or if we hadn't been swimming in a while. I didn't know what the deal was.
Yeah, it was a little weird, and you had there was of course other Ironman athletes
doing the same
circle. So 200 yards, but divided by 4, and it wasn't an even 4. So I feel like maybe 50-ish on the long sides, and then I make it 12 on the short, something like that.
I don't know, it ended up being a circle, whatever it was. It was kind of a weird little
25.
You were sighting every stroke because you weren't going in a straight line really for very much of it.
No. But yeah, I felt like I thought I was tired or something. I was like, man, am I exhausted? Because the swim felt harder than it should. We'd gotten. At this point, we kind of know, how things go.
An open water lake swim for me in a wetsuit should be 43 to 45 minutes. I know that's what it is. If I'm feeling good, maybe it's a little bit shorter than that, or having a great day or something. But anyway, we've done enough of these to where we know what our times should be and how we should feel like.
Yeah.
And this didn't feel like that. But again, we weren't positive that it was what it was, and we didn't have our wetsuits on that day.
Did not have wetsuits. That's writing that off.
So anyway, that was very foretelling for the next day. But anything else for the Friday? Got to meet Julie, the race director.
We did. She was fantastic. Went to Pearl Street and kind of explored that area. It's very nice. You go to the Boulder area. We went to the university. Oh, yeah, we did that on Thursday.
Yeah, we did go to the university. It's beautiful, man. If you ever have a chance to go see University of Colorado or Colorado University, whatever name they're choosing to use, it is very beautiful.
Yeah, pretty campus. It's no Athens, but nothing is.
The stuff that we were trying to see, they had like this, their welcome center, like visitor center was closed, COVID, but we got to walk around outside and play in the grass and all that. And that time of the year, July, It wasn't hot,
No.
and the grass was all green. Everything was in bloom. I mean, it was similar to, I guess, what Georgia's spring would be. I mean, that was a really good time of year. I don't know that visiting there in December would be nice. I mean, I guess if you want to see snow, but yeah, that was beautiful. Pearl Street was pretty cool. Basically they closed Pearl Street and made it a greenway. I mean, all the restaurants, have their outdoor seating in that area. Plenty of places to walk around. Plenty of cool stores. So that was neat. Then we did that Thursday. I did that Friday. Any other stories? Had pizza. What did we have for pizza? I don't remember.
It was. I'm going to call it a Colorado style pizza because it was very thin crust. That was that. I don't remember the name of the restaurant.
Because we got two of them.
We got two of them.
Yeah, so between I think we finished them, didn't we? There was so little crust that we finished two large pizzas.
With what? 3 adults and 2 tiny kids.
Yeah.
So,
not a thick crust at all.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference. Chicago style that we had the week before, or one pizza. All right, oh man, I can't eat that last piece. Right. So, race day? Get into race day morning?
Yeah, race day morning, we got to see our Ironman contact that morning and talk to her about some future races, and so that was pretty cool. And we got there, so parking at the venue there was an asphalt lot that held, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred cars.
Yeah.
It wasn't a terrible number. Then they had field parking for the rest. And so we were like, okay, well, we want to get there early because we knew we were going to take our bikes apart and we wanted to be on the asphalt to be able to do that. And plus, it's closer. So we got there super early, 5:10.
Yeah.
Whatever it was real close to 5 o'clock. And so we go set up our transition, and we got nothing to do for an hour.
we were twiddling our thumbs.
Really, it was literally an hour just kind of sitting there like, what do we never get there that early and are set up, ready to go. Okay, so when you're sitting, when you're sitting at your rack and you've got nothing to do, you talk to the people around you. So we're talking to one guy who's from San Francisco who's doing the Alcatraz race the next week.
We learned something interesting on that. If you will do so, Alcatraz, if you're not familiar with it, it's an awesome race, but it's a lottery race. So you enter the lottery, and I have been entering for more than 5 years and never gotten a spot. So it is a highly sought after triathlon. But he said after you do 3 times, after you're in it 3 times, then you get to be in it forever. Anytime you want to do it after that, you're automatically in. There's no lottery required for you. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It was a little inside baseball.
Talking to another guy that was beside me. It was his first triathlon. Ben. Hey Ben. Actually, I ran with Ben for all the run. So that was pretty cool. He was pretty nervous about doing the bike, but ended up killing it. And then there was a guy behind me, Dave, who is friends with Fireman Rob, who previously held this record. And so he was taking a picture of our backs of our shirt and texting it to him and saying, "Oh, I need to hook y'all up." So yeah, man, I was like, "Hey, if he's doing any races, let's get together," because I'm sure he's got stories. I mean, everybody's got to have stories.
Yeah. We met his coach.
The New Zealand guy was the Normatec guy.
Yeah, so there are all kinds of stories around Ironman. So please talk to people. It's fascinating.
Yeah. While we're there, apparently, there's other people who think they can set this world record too.
There's 3 of us going for it this year, and that we know of. There may be more.
Yeah.
There's the 2 of us and
Carlos Omar, super nice guy, came up and introduced himself. He's running for Ironman Foundation or whatever, doing all the Ironman races for the Ironman Foundation. And so we got to talk to him, and apparently we've been in several races together. So that was pretty cool to be able to talk to him and hear some of his stories and compare notes on some of the races. So yeah, I mean that's neat. I think that was race number 11 for him.
and race number 14 for us. So hopefully, if we can, survive August and September, then I guess we might set it before he does. But there's other people out there that are doing it, so we're not the only crazy people.
Hey, listen, now it just sounds normal to try to break this record, but he was super friendly. He came up and said hi, and then he said, I think we're trying for the same world record. And at that particular moment, I was prepared to hate him. But he was so very nice. Looking forward. We'll see him. I don't think we see him again until Maple Valley. Is that our next?
Yeah, Atlanta. We're gonna see him in Atlantic City. Is he doing Atlantic City? I don't know. There's a few Ironman races that we have the potential to see.
So he said he was only doing Ironman, and we are doing both Ironman and local races. Because of course we're racing every week, and Ironman,
they don't have a race every week.
I will never understand this. But there's like 12 races on September the 12th. Why they couldn't have spread those out just a little bit more? I mean, there's a lot more to it than my simple, look at a calendar and look at this open date. You've got to work with the cities and you've got all that stuff. And so I know that that's what's going on in the background, but somebody has to sit down on the calendar and go, man, that's a lot of races this particular weekend.
And they have to have a limited number of resources. I mean, think about it. We got to meet, we've met him before, but Too Tall, we got to talk to him on Friday for a good bit and talk to him about he sets up and runs transition for a lot. I mean, we've seen him at probably 5 or 6.
Easily.
So he does a lot of the transitions for Ironman, so we're going to see him at some more. But there's only one of him, and so how many of those guys do they have available? Because if you have 8 races on one weekend, you'd have to have 8 of those guys to be able to do it. I mean, we've met race directors that do multiple races. So you only have a limited number of race directors.
And then we've seen Brant from
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge was his race. Then
He
the
was at
next
Muscle
weekend he was at Eagleman.
Eagleman.
He was at Eagleman running something else. So he wasn't the race director for Eagleman. He was supervising one of the legs. So it's really interesting to figure out the inner workings of Ironman and how really small the community really is.
I guess that's natural, right? You want to have people with experience, and if they're only doing one race a year, how much experience could they possibly have?
Mm-hmm.
So you get it, but then when they have 8 races on one weekend, then it just spreads out all of that experience. So anyway, for us, it's worked out because we've been able to schedule local races on the weeks that Ironman's not racing. But for Carlos, he can't. I mean, if he's only doing Ironman races, then he's limited to the weeks that he can possibly race.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man. So great to meet Carlos. I'm looking forward to it, and kind of like having somebody to help push us. Maybe me. Knowing now that I've got competition, I can't slack off. I suspect as we get later into this, it's going to get harder and harder and harder to keep going. Especially once we've broken the record, things are going to hurt.
Things are hurting now, bro.
Yeah. Imagine 3 months from now. All right, and so, but having that driving force, because I've said, I want to break this record so badly that nobody tries it again, and that's gonna take some grit. So we'll see.
Okay, see where we're at. So that was transition. Any other transition stories?
No.
I mean, it was actually pretty cool to be there and kind of sit around for that long talking to people.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody seemed to be pretty relaxed.
That's been Ironman's kind of COVID thing, is just stay at your bike. They've got the bikes right on top of one another, so I guess it's slightly more socially distant than staying together in the swim line, but, once again, it's better than my idea, so at least they have an idea. But it's kind of fun to get to know who's around you, so that when you accidentally hit their bike, you feel bad. when you're getting your stuff out. But yeah, this was at what, 8 bike?
8 bikes per rack, and it was and not bagged either. So that I didn't like. I mean, that was tough.
Yeah.
But it was nice. I mean, like I said, I ran with Ben for almost. I mean, we didn't run side by side, but like I'd pass him, and he'd pass me, and it was we ended up, finishing almost at the same time. So I got to congratulate him coming across the finish line. But I mean, I ran with Carlos for about at least half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile, talking about stories and stuff. So having met those people in transition and then seeing them on the run course. Because I'm not one that usually talks to people. I mean, Sam will just talk to anybody, but I'm not usually one that'll start a conversation. Having met them previously made it a little bit easier for me to have somebody to talk to, which was nice because it was smoky on that run, and it was it wasn't a PR race, but it kept me going.
Yeah.
So that was good. But I guess let's go ahead and get into the swim.
So the swim. I don't know where I want to start, but not at the back. Let's start there.
That was my group, man.
That was not your group.
It was my group.
I don't know whose group that was. So we've covered this before, that the swim, for most of the athletes in the ladder, it might be most athletes, period, is an aspirational number. So you're segregated into the groups. And it's basically 4-minute segments, so 20 to it was 27 minutes and under, or 20, I don't know.
Whatever it was.
We've never been up that high. I don't know what it looks like. It's a big foggy mess. But somewhere around 30 to 34, 35 to 39, and so you can kind of this is where I expect my swim to be. Except that I think some of these people this is where I expect my swim to be in the pool with a wetsuit and a jet ski. Oh man! So this time we started back with the 43 people. We were a little late getting out of transition because we were talking or something.
Remember, I told y'all that my swim in a wetsuit in a lake should be 43 to 45 minutes.
Yes.
I mean, that's my people.
Once again, aspirational time, not actual time. Your actual time. That's not in the pool with the jet ski. I don't even know how that would actually work, but it's hilarious in my head. So we get down to start the swim, and it was just fighting up to the whatever. I usually like the 30 to 35 kind of range. Yeah, that's a little bit of an aspirational time for me. Without the wetsuit, with the wetsuit, I thought I could do it, and this was a wetsuit legal race. So we start with these people, and I didn't get to the first buoy before somebody's backstroking across my lane. We're not 100 yards into this swim, and you're backstroking. You're in the wrong swim group, guy. Get out of the way. Oh, man. And he was bad. I was very upset with that one. But the second one, it's not like the first one caught up to me because I had to go check. I was like, there can't be 2 of these idiots. Before I hit the second buoy, there was another backstroker. 2. There may have been more. I just never saw them. But if I saw a third, I was prepared to karate chop the next person I saw backstroking. I was just going to come over and just stop it right there. I don't know what that would have done. But yeah, I had.
Do you feel better?
Oh man, there's so much anger. It was just in there because you're swimming and I don't have any music, so I don't have anything to think about. Anybody to talk to.
The dude in front of us had the iPod with the headphones. He's in the swim line, put his earplugs in
So headphones are not allowed in Ironman races. I'm pretty sure it's so that you have to be in your own head and spiral down over the course of the race.
They're not allowed at all. It specifically states no headphones.
It's the rules say on the bike and the run. They don't actually say anything on the swim.
I thought I read something that said no. Okay. Anyway, I doubt
that was now that information is 2 or 3 years old when I was looking at wearing headphones on the swim, so they may have fixed it by now. But it's not the first time. We have seen some people with some, the bone conductive earphones. It's not like you're hearing anything. So I don't know if I can understand, I can justify it on the bike, especially you need to have your ears open and be able to hear what's going around you, and of course there's the focus that music allows you to kind of zone out, and you're racing, so you really kind of need to pay attention to what's going on around you. For the run, that's something else, but whatever.
But on the swim, I guess if they're yelling at you to get back in your lane or something. I mean, think about it. The dude that was backstroking probably had the earphones, and he couldn't hear the guy yelling at him saying that he was.
I still want to hit him. This is a week later, and I still want to hit that man. 100 yards. You need to be. And I don't care if you're backstroking. I'm not judging you. Nobody starts out as an Olympic caliber swimmer. Like, oh wow, I'm just gonna go jump in and do 30-second 50s, which is probably slow. But I get it. Just recognize where you are physically, and that's okay. You're going to have a bad race. I'm certain he had a bad race. I mean, first of all, you're an idiot for backstroking because you can't see. And there's 1,500 people all jumping into this water, and you're not going to be able to see squat. Oh, I had several people cut my line to go to. I swam on the right side of the yellow buoys. Oh, man. I don't actually want to say that. You guys shouldn't do it because it's totally not awesome and really, really great at all. So the 99% of the people will swim on the left side, about 1% will swim on the right side. It is allowed to swim on the right side, it's just the turn buoys that you swim on the outside of, but races will enforce that differently. Some races will enforce you swimming on the outside of buoys. So people go to the outside, which is of course also the straightest line, but it's so nice. So yes, I had some people cut across my line. I wasn't angry. That's okay. They were going to their rescue boat. I get it. They needed a breath. No problem. That's true.
So the swim for me, I can totally empathize with the backstroke people. Totally empathize with them because I get out there and I'm swimming. So my normal pace or normal cadence is 3 strokes and then a breath. So you do 3, you get a breath, and then you do 3, and then you get a breath. So I'm breathing on both sides. That helps me keep a little bit straighter line. When I only breathe on one side, then I end up going, I don't remember which way I go, but I end up going not in a straight line, which I already have a hard time swimming in a straight line anyway. First 200 yards, I mean, my heart is racing. I'm, starting to get lightheaded, and I'm like, this is not working. This is, and so they have, there's plenty of, personnel out there, but they have these like anchored swim platforms, I guess is what you would call it anyway. It's just like this square platform thing. So I just swim over to one of those and just hang on to it. And I'm like, yeah, you got to rethink how you're swimming here. So I had to catch my breath, calm down, slow my heart rate, and then restart. And then when I restarted, I swam on every 2 strokes. So I ended up only breathing on my right side, which is I get more breath on my right side than I do on my left side anyway, so that was fine. And I ended up just having to sight pretty much every stroke, which probably made me straighter that way anyway. I swam on the right side of the buoys this time too, and then just went around the red, which amazingly I didn't get clobbered going around the red, because usually when you go around those red buoys, it's pretty tight, and there's usually a whole bunch of people trying to cut it as close as possible. Like, they're going around, a racetrack or something, and they're trying to cut the corner. But for whatever reason, it was fine this time. And so after I got to that first red buoy, which was probably about 500 yards or 600 yards, something like that, it ended up being, I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this pace, and so I was able to finish. But yeah, I don't know if it was the smoke, if it was the altitude, if it was a combination, whatever it was. That's where I noticed the breathing problems. Oh, yeah. And then so we get to the bike.
I was saying, so the buoys, the second, so this was I don't know what to call it, kind of a rectangular course, I guess is what I call it.
Yeah, you kind of went out and then over and then back, and the over on the out was a lot bigger than the over on the back between the 2 docks.
It wasn't like the triangles where we've had I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't go out one dock and come back the same dock. Yeah. You went out one dock and you came back another dock.
And there's a little space in between.
Yeah, there was space.
So coming around that second buoy, this person had been trying to pass me for a little while, and I mean that's fine. You go right ahead. but we're in the buoy, and I've got the inside lane, and they were trying to pass me, I guess, to get the closer. So I just got to the buoy before they could pass me. I got pushed. I've never been pushed in the water before by somebody who had to have just been frustrated.
They physically pushed you out of the way.
Physically, it wasn't. I mean, you know what? I'm going to call it hitting.
I mean, a push is much nicer than a punch or whatever getting out of my way.
Well, I mean, to be fair, maybe I should have just pushed the backstroke. I don't know. I'll get there. But yeah, I haven't ever been pushed before. Okay. I mean, that was apparently I'm not the only person who was angry with the swim. But yeah, man, there were some breaststrokes in there where I just like, dude, I gotta breathe. So the smoke didn't start great, but it gets progressively worse.
But to be fair, the day before, so Friday, the race was on Saturday. On Friday, it was hot, and the sun was out, and it was beating on you, and I mean, it was in the 90s, which for Boulder is hot. The smoke blacked out the sun, so it was basically overcast. I mean, I didn't really smell the smoke as much.
No, it didn't.
It was just super dense and hazy, which made it look like it was overcast or even kind of foggy.
Yeah. You could not, before we get to the run, you couldn't see the sun at all. It was completely obscure.
Which made it way cooler.
Yeah, so I was asking for overcast. And
well, we got it. Not in the way that we thought we did.
Not the typical way, but hey. And I was running, I'm talking about this. I was like, man, this is coming from Utah or somebody. Guy's like, yeah, I'm from Massachusetts. It's reached all the way there.
Wow.
That he was like, man, I thought my house was on fire before we left, coming out here. So apparently smoke can travel a long way.
So we get to the bike. So this bike course was just really, there were a lot of U-turns, a lot more than I thought there should have been. But when you have U-turns like that, I can know exactly where Sam is. So remember, I'm supposed to be doing 43 to 45 minutes on the swim. Well, it took me 49. So this was not my best swim. Sam was like forever ahead of me. Because I even took my time in transition, and I never even saw Sam in transition. I mean, like I didn't even see him leaving with his bike, which sometimes I can see that. But he was so far ahead of me that I was like, I wonder if I'll even be able to catch him on the bike. And but since there's so many U-turns, I could find out exactly how far away from Sam that I was. And so the first time, the first U-turn, I don't remember how many minutes it was, but my time. So how I figure it out is he's going the other way and I'm going this way, and so I'll time myself from when I see him till I get to the U-turn, and then I'll double that, and that's I know how far away I am. That's not an exact science, but that usually works for me. So you get to the next U-turn, and I'm a little bit closer. I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm riding faster than he is. Still ended up taking me forever to catch you. I don't remember how far it was.
I don't. So Billy loves doing numbers, and so I know that when I get past, he's got a goal of passing X number of people per race. I know I'm going to be number something, and I just want that number to be as high as it possibly can. So, what was I for this race?
218. The only reason I know that is because you asked me as I was passing, what number am I? And so I had to think about it because we had talked for just a second, and I was like, 218. Which, mind you, I wanted, so depends on the race and depends on how I'm feeling, and it depends on the level of competition. But this race, I was like, I think I can pass 400 people, because first of all, we started pretty far back in the swim. If you start close up in the swim, then you're not going to pass as many people because they're all pretty fast anyway. But I wanted to pass 400 people, and it
didn't happen.
Not even close. I think 250 or 252 or something total, and he was number 218. So that's how far.
I'm gonna call that a win.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, I do count. I mean, you're on the bike, man. I mean, Sam, I guess he passes the time by talking to people. I pass the time by counting the people that I passed.
Yeah, this was a little bit more of a serious race. Less talkers on the bike, so it might have just been where I was. But the way the hills were structured, it wasn't super talking friendly. Talking friendly race is fairly flat, where you're just, I mean, you know, you're going whatever your speed is. In my case, 20 or so on a flat race, and so you know you're just doing that for hours. This one was really interesting. You had a bunch of hills. Sorry, I guess 3 main hills, and then the rest of it's kind of rolling. So you know you're fighting to get up that hill, and then you get to the top, and then you had a long descent. And so yeah, it was not a super talking friendly race.
Yeah.
No,
Not too many people want to talk when you're doing 30 and above.
How's it going?
Kind of windy. Oh yeah, man. I think 42 was my max. I don't have to go back. And
Yeah, I mean, there weren't
that.
any super steep,
Yeah.
which that was kind of nice. I mean, the way that the hills were structured is you fought to get up that hill, which it was never a soul-crushing hill. It was very manageable to get up it.
Yeah.
You were winded when you got to the top, but then it was a good long couple of mile downhill. Not super steep, but you know, enough to get up to 30ish or whatever and keep 30 for a couple of miles, which you were able to catch your breath and so I mean, as far as the hills go, I mean I think it was a little over 2,000 feet of climb, which was double what we had done the week before, but still had a similar time. I mean, almost exactly the same time as the week before. So it was I liked the bike for that. It made you work for it, but gave you a little bit of reward there too. So.
And with the U-turns, it did not. I mean,
Yeah.
those were frustrating.
Yeah.
But the way they had structured the course, I liked very much. And without knowing that area, I don't know that you could do it that way.
And the roads were good. I mean, they chose good roads.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So not knocking them on the bike at all.
No.
But that was a good bike.
So I am coming in from the bike, and I see Everyman Jack coming in on the run. I was like, okay. So Everyman Jack is a race team. I think they're based out of Nevada. It's a hairline for men is their deal, but the owner loves triathlon, so he sponsors a race team, and he gets the very best amateurs in the United States. And so, you know, you see them, you say hi, they're all very friendly. All the ones we've talked to have been very friendly. But they're very good. They're very talented guys. And so when you see them, just get out of the way. Sorry. When I see them, I get out of the way. Hey, you may have
We beat Colin in what was that, White Mountains?
That was.
We beat him. I mean, it was only because he quit.
Hey,
He smoked us the next 2 weeks later. In
2
Muscle
weeks
Man.
later, we see him in Muscleman, and he got, what, second place there?
Yeah, something like that. Overall.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah. It's funny to see those guys, but they kind of take it a little more seriously than we do. We're not on the same.
Yeah.
So, the run.
So the run, starting off the run, you run out of transition and run for a little ways, and maybe a quarter mile or so, and you get to the turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 2-loop course, and you basically go do the whole course, and you come back and then you turn around, and then you do the whole course again, and then you go back to the finish line. So there's kind of that, I guess it's maybe a quarter of a mile or whatever.
Yeah.
When I get to the turnaround, right at the turnaround, 3 foot, 4 foot snake.
Oh.
Crossing the path.
Oh!
And it was not a rattlesnake because I looked specifically for the rattle, but it definitely had the diamond shapes all over. Somebody said they thought maybe it was a bull snake. And I don't know, whatever it was, it did not look friendly, which it didn't matter. I wasn't gonna try to step on it anyway. But you got one of the volunteers that are saying, "Watch out for the snake! Watch out for the snake!" And he's just and he was just moseying too. It was not.
He's not in a rush.
He was just moseying almost. So I just kind of went by. So that was probably about the most interesting part of the race. So I mean, just starting right out, you do that. You ran on. It was mostly dirt trails. Now, when I say dirt, I'm not talking about like cross country type running. I'm talking it was like a road like a gravel road, but like a little tiny gravel.
Yeah, lots of clay. It was, dusty.
Hard packed. I mean, It was nice. I mean, it's actually
I liked it
probably
a lot.
more comfortable than running on asphalt or concrete for sure.
Loved it. I'd love to do that thing again.
The elevation wasn't too bad. I mean, there were some hills.
Yeah.
But nothing that was killer or whatever. And since it was a 2-loop course, you're out there with a whole bunch of people. But it wasn't the most spread out that we've ever been on a run. But there were a few places where it got kind of cramped, but nothing where I was like, oh, you need to change this run course type of thing.
No, I won't change the thing.
And like I said, I mean, they had plenty of aid stations and stuff, and I got to run with Ben, and so we talked a little bit, and I was doing a run walk cadence, and I was trying not to run as fast as I normally do, because when we were in transition, the Alcatraz guy said, hey, where you're going to feel the altitude the most is on the run, and I'm like, okay, well, I already felt it on the swim, so if I felt it on the swim, there's no more feeling on the run.
You're about to not have a good day.
So I ran a little bit slower than I normally do, but I didn't walk as much. But when I did walk, then Ben would pass me, and then I'd start running again, and I'd pass him. And so, we got to kind of, keep up with each other that way. And then I caught up with Carlos. It was on the first loop. He had a flat tire, poor guy, on the bike. We got talking about, family and his running and all that kind of stuff. And then he was having hamstring issues, and so I went on ahead. And I got around that first loop, and I saw Sam, and I told you did you ever catch up with Carlos?
Apparently, I looked and I beat his time, but I never saw
catch
him.
up with him on the loop. Yeah. So that was cool. I mean, the finish line, you run through a grassy area to get to the finish line itself, which is usually you're running on asphalt or whatever, so the grass was kind of cool. And the finish line, finish line and the start of the swim were in the same place. Yeah. Like you might could touch both of those places with your arms.
The finish line chute was the swim start chute.
Yeah, it was. We've never had a finish line that close to the swim start finish line ever.
No.
So that was kind of cool. After the race, I guess go ahead and finish your run stories and we talk about after the race.
See, I talked to some interesting people. One guy was a real estate developer out of Denver, and said things are crazy there. He did mini storage buildings, so he works for a REIT based out of Denver, but does it all over the U.S.
Okay.
And so he was really interesting. He this was his first. He said in 8 years, and so if you ask his wife, the next one will be in about 8 years or so. Ironman.
Did you get to sell him anything?
No, I didn't have anything to sell.
No.
That's a shame. I could have brought some spreadsheets. Hey, look at this pro forma. It'd be amazing. And now it's a business run. So he was funny. Ironman, the full Ironman feels like it takes over your life. That's the way it's always felt for me. The half doesn't feel so egregious, but then again, you're the one out exercising, not the person at home.
Ask Megan. Children. She's like, I think I can do a half Ironman without even training, and I'm going to prove it.
She did it,
and goes out and gets third place or fifth place, whatever she got in her age group. So for some people, not much training involved.
Depending on your appetite, weight, and athletic ability, you might be able to do that. So half Ironman doesn't feel as bad, but so he has his sights set on a full, but not anytime soon. There was no rush. He was interesting. I lost him after the first. Just about halfway through the first loop, I was pushing it harder than he wanted to go. A lot of people for a short amount of time. Still a lot of people training for Madison. And that thing's going to be slam full. Apparently, I've met 20% of the field for Madison. So, hi guys, good luck.
But mind you, we've been racing all over the Midwest. If you're going to do a full, that's probably a pretty popular full in the Midwest.
So we'll put that on the list. We're going to try out Madison. So lots of very friendly people. Colorado's great. I met one dude from London at the end who had moved to the States a while ago for work and stayed. So yeah, it always interests me, why people are wherever they are, what caused you to stay. And so everybody from Colorado thoroughly enjoyed it. Nobody was planning on moving, and they said that lots of people from New York moving to Colorado. So really interesting.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, there's smoke. There was the smoke issue.
Yeah.
But if you're used to the haze of New York City, or whatever metropolis has smog, this was nothing. But yeah. So, no super interesting stories. I didn't have any wildlife. I'm trying to remember what race that was. It had to be Springfield with the deer. Did you see the deer in Springfield?
No, remember.
Oh, man. They followed us around, or followed me around, or just nailed it just right. There was a little family of deer that I just kept seeing. And they crossed the road, and then crossed back, and then
They were playing dodgeball.
they were playing a game. Oh, this was on the run. So all I could think was, please let me catch a deer. I'm gonna need 2 of them to support my weight, but man, it'd go so much faster.
If you could steer them, you'd have to steer them in the direction that you want to go. I mean, I think that would actually count. I don't think they could penalize you for if you actually hopped on a deer.
Caught a deer? Yeah, we're gonna need to look at the rule books on this one.
Yeah. All right, so after the race, we had scouted this the day before because we stayed in Boulder, or it was right outside of Boulder for the race, and then Denver was where we were staying the night before because of course we do 6 a.m. flights. I mean that's what we do. So we stayed in Denver the night before the flight. So we didn't have you couldn't go straight from the race to the hotel room to take a shower. We were going to have to drive to Denver. So Jennifer had already said, we had 2 rental cars, and Jennifer already said, oh, y'all can ride in the other rental car, and I'll drive in this one, because y'all are going to be smelly, which was true. But this is at a state park, and this state park had a pavilion that had, it was a building that had locker rooms. Not only did they have locker rooms, they had locker rooms where you could, shower or whatever, but they also had these, private bathroom stalls that had, a toilet and a shower, and you're in there by yourself.
Yeah.
And we got those, and they were hot showers.
Yes.
And we got those, and so we were able to shower right after the race and change clothes, and felt like $1 million, man.
So nice. This was the nicest facilities we've ever had at a race, ever.
I mean, as opposed to the ones that we made ourselves at our house.
Well, given. Sorry.
Okay.
Those were fantastic. The service was terrible. I left him a negative Yelp review because he didn't turn down my pillow. But yeah, as far as actual races, can you think of? Generally they're out in the middle of nowhere, and so if you've got a pole barn and
the Ironman sets up tents or whatever, but they're not setting up shower tents.
No, not this. This was very nice. So highly recommended for that.
Chattanooga, you could have a hotel right there at the race finish. There's places like that, but this was, free,
as far as free facilities,
free facility to be able to. That was super nice. That was probably about my favorite part of the race.
I was looking forward to that shower the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we get up at the crack of dawn. I don't think we have any Denver stories. Did we do anything special there that night? We just kind of came home and
crashed,
wrecked.
Yeah.
So nothing really exciting. Home fly out. So.
Yeah, Denver has a Sky Club, and the Sky Club opens at 4:30. In case you need to know. So that was nice to know.
Oh man. So the Sky Club rules are that if you're under the age of 2, if you're a lap child, you're allowed in for free. But anything other than that, if you're a ticketed passenger, you have to have your own Sky
Club membership.
Club membership or avenue of getting in. We have the Amex Platinum cards. Is the way that we get into the thing. We should do a video on travel hacks.
Yeah.
It's online, so it's nothing special. But those cards get you access in. Except that American Express will not give a card to under 13. So there's this window between 2 and 13 where you're not allowed into the Sky Club. So we keep going in, grabbing food because they don't really care, and bringing it out.
So Sam and Jennifer and I can all go in the Sky Club. I'm gonna tell you, Delta, if you ever have the opportunity again, it would be so much cheaper just to let the kids in. I mean, if you just let the kids in, you'd lose so much less food. I mean, I think they went out and were feeding the homeless people with all this food that they took out. It was a bunch of food.
Jennifer comes out with a cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's the joke about in college you would bring the, you know, Ziploc bag and fill it up with food for the weekend to the dining halls. She brought a cooler that, I mean, it was huge. It was that big. She didn't fill it all the way up.
They didn't have a lot of food in it. And good for them, they had refrigerators that you could just go in and get canned soda. I mean, they had canned or bottled beer. They had pretty much anything that you wanted. So that was nice. I think we still like the Detroit snacks the best.
Oh,
but I mean, the Denver drink coolers were the best.
Yeah, we did a rating of various
Sky Clubs
in the airports.
So that was nice that they were open to be able to do that.
Very cool. So stay tuned for next week, where we go to Seattle and Arizona. So we are going to
the same weekend.
We're going to do a double: Saturday in Seattle, Sunday Arizona, Monday in the coffin. So if we make it, it'll be incredible. If we don't, I will not be surprised. It'll hurt so badly, so badly.
Probably make for some interesting stories anyway.
So yeah, look out for our next video for Seattle. What is it?
Black Diamond.
Black Diamond. Yeah, such a friendly name for a race. So yeah, this one is obviously going to be just a nice Sunday drive.
That's the name of the mountain, I think.
I assume. Oh, is it Black Diamond Mountain Triathlon?
No,
That's
but
gonna
if
make
you
it
look on the
worse.
map, it says Black Diamond.
No, because ski courses are Black Diamond.
Yeah, no, but this is on the like geography map
Okay.
or whatever. If
It
you
is-
zoom in, it says Black
the
Diamond.
area
So
is
the
Black
area is
Diamond.
Black. I'm assuming it's the mountain, but I guess it could be the area. It's not like a city or anything.
If it's named for the mountain, we're going to do some climbing. So we're about to
Find out. I mean, the one in Arizona is called Mountain Man, and we already know if there's the name of a mountain in there, then it's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
of fun.
they're gonna have us. They're gonna have us climb the side of it like mountain goes. Stay tuned. It should be fun for you guys to watch. Thanks, guys.